Hey everyone, it's Kitty Cat. Fuck, it's been forever. I got my dog. Got a nice cup of Joe. It's not even Joe. I made like this really weird ramen noodle and I really liked it, so I'm drinking the broth. Yeah. And then I also have a nice cigarette. So let's sit down and have ourselves a nice kind of vlogish thing. So Memorial Day happened. I completely forgot how I don't know the official day. I've been stuck inside forever and but Memorial Day is about like remembering all the people that have died in the wars and stuff for the US, right? Well, when usually you think about like World War II, you have Vietnam, the Civil War, you have the Rebellion, you have the Korean War, you have World War II, you have the Quasian War? I don't know how to say it. Anyways, but what about the wars that no one really ever talks about? So I did my little research, right? Let me take a drink. I did some research, right, on different wars that we had not really talked about, because the US has this weird way of just being like, yeah, we did that, but we're not gonna ever, like, put it in some of our history textbooks in school and stuff, and just gonna sweep it under the rug. It didn't happen. What? It's fine. It's not there. It doesn't exist anymore. But I did some research, and I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about some interesting things that I found. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking down because I have my little sketchbook here. Did lots of little notes. But let's start with. Okay, so I have 3 wars that I want to talk about. Yes. Let's talk about the U.S. and the Native Americans. Oh, doesn't that sound like a great thing? Probably thinking like, oh, but, you know, like, the way that the U.S. has it, we only learned about, really, the beginning with the Pilgrims and everything, and then also the end, which, Cowboys and Indians, right? But no one knows about the centuries of shit and constant war that we had in the middle. Good boy, Scrapper. Wish I had treats for but, so, you probably know, like, oh yeah, we were just taking land and, you know, whatever. But not all that land was empty, of course, you know, it already had areas. Let's start with Florida. Florida used to be a Spanish land. And, so Spanish used to be Florida used to be a Spanish land. In that Spanish land, there had been a native population mostly called the Seminoles. They lived there and formed a active military resistance against the U.S. After the Seminole massacred nearby settlers, the U.S. wanted retribution. And so the military was like, well, shit, we gotta go in here, we gotta fix this shit, right? But the problem with that was that Spain had not yet given Florida to the U.S. But who cares? You know, Andrew Jackson was general at that time, and so, fuck, right? Andrew Jackson had gathered a force of 3,000 Americans and 1,400 Creek to break the Seminole resistance. Yes! Oh, we invaded Florida! This mainly was burning, at the beginning it was just burning villages villages and hanging leaders. You know, really sending that message, hey, if you fuck with us, we're gonna fuck with you. The US has a whole thing for that. But these monstrosities were like, we didn't really accept that, you know. Some were like, but hey, it's Jackson. He didn't care. He didn't care. Sorry, I thought I heard a knock at the door. There was one, by the way. Whatever. Anyways. In the beginning, yeah. It was mainly just burning villages and hanging leaders but Jackson didn't give a shit. Because Jackson was Jackson, and he was like, you know what? Florida's gonna be ours, 'cause fuck it, I guess. There was a time of peace when Florida did become a state, but the Seminole was still a problem to the U.S. because they were they were east of the Mississippi at the time. Well, when Jackson became president, they weren't an issue anymore. Let's just say, not an issue anymore. The U.S. Oh my god. Sorry, I got really confused, and I thought I wasn't recording for a second. Anyways, the U.S. created the Indian Removal Act, which meant all of the Indians east of the Mississippi had to get the fuck out. The Seminoles didn't like this, and the Americans knew it, that they were going to protest. And eventually, war did come. This war lasted, guess. I'll give you a second, write in the comments, guess how long did this war go on? Boom! 6 years. 6 fucking years. Longer than World War II lasted. The U.S. didn't know the land like the Seminoles did, though. So, the Seminoles would, well, the way that the war went is that the Seminoles would routinely kill the U.S. soldiers, and the U.S. soldiers would routinely kill the Seminoles. Sorry, can't talk. But after years, the Americans would still be stuck in the swamp. Sometimes so long that they had to eat their horses. Get this, 40,000 Americans fought in the Seminole Wars. Eventually, after many years, the U.S. was able to push the Seminoles to south of Florida. I think the wars were just so brutal and just a work of sheer degradation. They just got swept under the rug. Except for Florida. Florida nuts. Florida still gets it. Yeah, you'll still get it. Okay, that was, I just can't talk right. I'm sorry if you didn't understand that. But look it up, man. It's actually pretty fucking crazy. We just went full on out of the Seminoles. We were like, you know what? Florida's our land. You get the fuck out of here, fucking natives, because we're amazing and we deserve all this land. Anyways. Don't you just love rants? Especially about war. Okay. There's what I want to talk about, but I'll talk about that last because it's kind of a sensitive issue right now. Would you believe what that is? Fuck. I'm amazing, ain't I? Okay, so, let's, second off, what about... It's still recording. Have you guys heard that that America had fought pirates? Yes. So you know lately how everyone about, like, North Africa, let's start there, North Africa, right? The United States is very, like, nice, kind of very sensitive towards North America because of how they don't really, about everything, just basically everything. But, like, the question is, since we're so sensitive towards North America, when, you know, we had a lot of wars, especially when we were still youngsters of the 13 nations. Oh my, young little nation. Okay, no, 13 states, yeah. There used to be 13 states. Anyways, right, when was the last time that we got in war with North America? It's some of the shit they don't teach you. Hold on, this is pretty fucking cool actually, but I really want to say that. So, in 1801, we had a war with North America, 1801. Amazing, isn't it? You've never heard of this, have you? Well, when we were still a young nation and Thomas Jefferson was our president, America fought a 4-year-long war with pirates off the coast of North America. This was called the Barbary War. Yes, there were 2 of them. 2 Barbary Wars. At the time, Muslim piracy was a major issue. Along the coastline of North America was made up of multiple pirate states, which was called the Barbary Coast. This consisted of, I have to read this, Morocco, Algeria, and Tripoli. Great fun word. And guess what united them? They just really liked raiding incoming ships. Isn't that amazing? Europeans and the U.S. ships that crossed by would often be attacked, and if we had not paid the ransom that they would set on them, the North Americans would sell the how do you say this? Sailors. They would sell the sailors to slavery. And, well, the United States didn't like this very much, and it got annoying really fast. So, but there was a debate whether we should pay the ransoms or whether we should fight them. Jefferson reasoned that paying the pirates would only encourage more piracy. When Jefferson became president, the pirate states tried to force another ransom, but Jefferson didn't comply. He was like, no! So in response, Tripoli declared a war on the U.S., and eventually all of the Barbary states, let me check the time, okay, all of the Barbary states began raiding American ships. We even today debate about how the president can use the military without an official, if the president could or should use the military without an official declaration, of war. Well, this conversation kind of began here. Congress concluded that Jefferson had the powers to, as commander-in-chief, to stop the pirates, to protect Americans and destroy Barbary vessels. So they were basically like, hey, go nuts. Only got 20 more seconds. Great. Effectively, this was the 19th century version of intervening against terrorists without a declaration